All right, let's say we get started. Thank you very much for joining. I appreciate you taking your time out of your, what I presume, busy days. And I welcome you to our next installment of our webinar series focused around workflows. So this particular installment, I'm joined by my colleague, and many of you might have met him before and seen him on one of our previous webinars, my colleague Sergey Kirik. He's gonna show us what we have in store for you today. And the topic that we want to talk about is PortaOne Workflows and maybe some creative ways of how to use it differently than maybe some of you already do. So let's take a quick look at our agenda here, what we want to do. And also, just maybe before I talk about the agenda, just a few housekeeping items. So as I said before, your microphones are muted. Feel free to ask questions throughout, either via the webinar chat, or there's also a QA QA option in Zoom, so you can use that as well. We will have a Q&A at the very end, but feel free to obviously ask your questions throughout so you don't forget your questions. We will have a recording of our session today. So for those of you or your colleagues that were not able to join, we will be able to share the recording in the following weeks. And so let's get started. So as the agenda, the things that we wanted to cover today and talk with you about is, let's take a quick refresh of what PortaOne Workflows so far has been doing for many of our customers, where it's useful, what jobs and what things you can do with it. But then moving on forward is taking quite a little bit of a different look. What else can it do? So for those of you that have already the Workflows platform in place, we basically have a few, or Sergey, I got to give him credit, as our resident expert in PortaOne Workflows. There are quite a few other things that you can do with it. So we wanted to share a few of those, and maybe you find, and we hope you find some of those quite useful, and maybe it starts sort of the creative juices going, and you come up with your own ideas that might be helpful for your customers or for your operations. Then we're going to have some demo time. At the very end, I'm going to take this opportunity to also share a couple updates about Add-on Mart, and we'll have our Q&A at the very end. So just as a quick refresh for those of you that may not have had a chance to use PortaOne Workflows, this is what the few customers that we have using it, this is what they use it. So mostly PortaOne Workflows as an iPaaS or integration as a service platform is used as the workhorse in back office integrations. So oftentimes this is related to data sync. So this could be one of the big topics is obviously CRM integration. So how can I integrate my CRM such as Zoho or HubSpot or Salesforce? How can I integrate it with my billing system, Porta Billing? This is where workflows can be very, very useful because it can be done very quickly. It can be designed visually, and it can be adjusted when needed without any hard coding. So this is where Workflows as an iPaaS or no-code, low-code platform really shines. We also seen a lot of customers using it for accounting integration. So meaning moving billing data from Porta Billing into your Xero, into your QuickBooks, and creating invoices there, reconciling payments. So this, again, is a use case that has been over and over again requested, and this is where PortaOne Workflows is very useful. And the third example that I just wanted to share with you is we use PortaOne Workflows extensively during provisioning actions. So this could be mobile core provisioning, where portabilling triggers essentially new accounts or new customers or new service wallets are created, and we have to sync that to the mobile core. But it's not only in mobile or MVNO operations, it's also very useful in regular or other fixed line operations, for example. So in provisioning, again, PortaOne Workflows plays usually a very central role. So this is sort of the usual use cases, I want to say. Now, flicking that around a little bit, it is a very, very powerful, sophisticated platform. So it can do a lot of things. So what else are those things that it might be useful for? So Sergey is very much, it's almost like a little Google Labs or PortaOne Labs expert. So he loves the product, I believe, and he likes playing around with it. So he came up with basically a few ideas, a few examples of what you can use PortaOne Workflows also for. And the high level or the summary here is that you can not only use it in operations for data sync, but you can actually use it also as a VAS engine, value-added services. You can create very customized or hyper-specialized portals or value-added services for specific customers that may not have or may not be applicable to the entire customer segment, but maybe only to a select few. And usually in the past, if you had to code or if you had to create a product for those specific customers, it might just get very expensive and it doesn't make it economically viable. But if you have a workflows platform with low code, no code, it might just be viable. So we wanted to give you a few examples here of these highly customized VAS that you could create with PortaOne Workflows. So we're going to show you how you can strategically combine AI, some AI tools that are out there these days with CTI or computer telephony integration and your PortaSwitch backend, and hopefully give you a few examples that you might find useful, and maybe you can come up with your own. And obviously, if you have questions about these sort of things, you can always reach out to us and discuss your ideas with us to see how viable they might be. So I'm going to pass the microphone over to Sergey, and he can take it from here.
Thank you, Klaus. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Sergey. I'm an integration architect in PortaOne, and today I prepared a demo, so-called micro product, just like Klaus told you, and that we expected you could actually upsell and actually offer to your business customers who already subscribed and use Cloud PBX services from you. A little bit background or kind of source of my inspiration. I recently called a bank. Now on a credit card, there is a printed number that can always reach your bank. So I'll dial this number from my mobile phone, and I was expecting, as it used to be, I was expecting to stay in the queue and then get connected to some of the call center agents. However, that time, their application or whatever they use recognized me as a premium customer and immediately connected with my account manager. That was cool, and I believe this became possible when the bank integrated their telephony system with their CRM system where they manage their customer base, right? And that's the story we take as the basis to show you today. I was also talking to one of the service providers just recently, and they confirmed that they actually implemented thousands of such and integrations to all of their business customers who use cloud PBX services. So I was thinking it could be really useful for you guys because you already offer cloud PBX services using PortaSwitch to business customers, and that's also a possible add-on that you can upsell to them. So let me request the control of the slides because I first want to present those flows in more details in slides, and after that, show them live. So let me request remote control. Yeah, I think I got it. I'm waiting for the latency. Okay. All right. So we will be talking about integration between telephony systems and CRM systems. And we will be implementing this using PortaOne Workflows. We will be talking about association between the client, the client of the business, and the manager of this business. And that association is something that we want to store in our CRM and later use it. So, for example, how it goes. Imagine we have a manager and he is selling, for example, solar panels, solar inverters, LFP batteries, everything around that, power equipment. And this manager owns the line, the extension in certain cloud PBX environment that you provide to him. And they're doing some sales campaigns. So they have a client number in the CRM as a lead, and they make a first call to this client to probably offer and target their offering to this client. They make a call, PortaSwitch connects this call to the client. For example, it's a cell phone of the client, right? And as soon as the call is complete, PortaSwitch can notify external system, in this case, PortaOne Workflows, about this event. So what PortaOne Workflows does is finds this client in the CRM, and it also knows who called this client and already can create association that this manager actually is account manager for that client. And since association is using this flow is already here in CRM, in the next flow, we can use this association. So what we have in mind and what was already implemented, for example, after a while, in a month, for example, the client makes a decision. For example, they want to buy more solar panels because they want to increase power for their premises, right? So the client dials that DAD of the company, of the business, right? And here is the most interesting part, because there is a capability in PortaSwitch to offload a full control of that call, of that incoming call to DAD to PortaOne Workflows, right? And because PortaOne Workflows receive in real time, it receives information about call in progress, right? And there is incoming call coming from the client. You can make a lookup in the CRM and find this client and find that association that was already created. So we know who managed this account. Optionally, PortaOne Workflows can request AI service to synthesize a speech, an audio, and play to the client to make it more personal, right? And eventually, we can immediately transfer this incoming call to the account manager of the client. Yeah, I think and I hope that these slides give you good business idea of what I'm going to show you right now. And if you don't mind, I'm gonna share my screen and start showing those flows live. All right. So what we have, remember we have icons, we have a company, we have a manager, right? So they first make an outgoing call. So let's see, we have a cloud PBX environment. So imagine this company is their business is solar panels and everything around solar power equipment, right? They have sales department, they have ring group with so many agents there, right? And one of the managers I choose for this demo is James Robinson. He owns extension 1011, right? And he is about to call a new customer, right? For CRM, and this is hosted on a PortaSwitch, right? So this is powered by PortaSwitch. For CRM, they use, we assume they use a Google Business Suite, right? So for simplicity, of course, you can implement with any other sales CRM like HubSpot, also, like Klaus mentioned. But for this demo, I choose Google Contact because everybody knows what Google Contact is. So it's very familiar interface, super simple and clear, right? They have a customer, Sergey Kirik, who the customer has, let's say, some number to reach him, right? Yeah, so two pieces of the puzzle, and we have, once again, we have PortaSwitch powering the cloud PBX environment. They have the ID number here in the PortaSwitch system to reach this company. This company is using Google Contacts powered by Google, right, as a CRM. And the final thing is that PortaOne Workflows powered by Boomi. Here you have two flows here. Just like we explained it in the slides, the first flow is about to associate extension in CRM on outgoing call by managers, outgoing call from this our cloud PBX environment. And the second flow is listening and is going to transfer incoming calls to extensions, which they find as associated in CRM, right? Currently, those listeners on pause, so I'm going to resume them because I wanted my logs to be clean. And while they are starting, I'm going to also start my soft phone because I want to make real calls today. So I'm going to use LinPhone for my manager. I'm waiting for, so it's on a different screen, sorry. All right, so I have a LinPhone and this is my manager, extension 1011, right? And he's gonna call Sergey Kirik to the number from CRM, to this number. And Sergey Kirik will be using Zypher because I want to connect our calls together so we make successful calls. Yeah, as we can see, the same number is used. And let me refresh the state of the listeners to make sure they are online. Yeah, online, and we can make calls. All right, so the first flow, managers calls client, LinPhone. So find this contact, so Kirik, this number, yes, this is this number. Let's make a call. Okay, Zoiper is telling us the reason. Hello, how are you doing? All right. And call ended. So we just simulated the situation that the sales manager made an outgoing call to the client, to Sergey Kirik, and that's when the association should happen, right? And let's open the Google Contact here. Let's refresh it and see that while we were talking, the system just extended that. So when I refreshed screen, hope you saw this, right? The system extended this CRM record with the information about manager extension 1011 and manager name James Robinson. So we created extension and we can already use it. So we can imagine some situation that after a while, our Sergey Kirik, here in my setup, Sergey Kirik is on this line, but in real life, he could call from a cell phone, right? And they call back to this DAD, right? So it says James Robin, but it's just display name. It's not really the number, right? The number is here, and you can't really reach James Robin directly because it's hidden as a certain extension in the Cloud PBX environment. So let's call.
Hello, Sergey Kirik. We are now connecting you with your manager, James Robinson.
Yeah, like it runs all through. Hello. Apparently, there's a lot of lag. All right. So you got the idea, and you saw that in action. The Boomi application completely took the control over the call and generated, synthesized an AI prompt using AI service and recognized Sergey Kirik as a Sergey Kirik as a client. It recognized that there is an associated manager, James Robinson, and made the transfer. I'm going to just quickly show you how it looks like in PortaOne Workflows, just in process reporting. There is a lot of executions here. Let me just quickly filter them so we're not bothered. Okay, just click CRM. Why? Okay, still there are a lot of executions here. Why? Because our applications are subscribed to call state changes, right? And when the call is trying state, we receive notification. When the call is in ringing state, we receive notification, connected, terminated. That's why so many processes triggered. However, only few of them are actually executed because we filter our applications are smart enough to work only when necessary, because we implement business rules inside applications. So during the first flow, when we did association, just quickly browse it. We were listening to call state notification for a hunt group. We received that notification, we found a person, and we updated this person in Google G Suite associated with a certain extension. Very similarly, during the second call, where we had a full control to all incoming calls to a certain DID access number. So we ran call, we find a person, we answered the call, we prepared the audio using Azure AI, right? We played that prompt and transferred the call. The process looks like this. And just give me a sec. And I believe it's very intuitive to get an idea. So we listen to all state notifications, we validate events, so we don't need to engage this flow every time, but only to on certain occasions. We prepare ring requests, we find associated extension and prepare audio. Yes, we make a lookup in the Google. We do AI text-to-speech request with Azure. In the sub-process, save this file to the file, answer the call, play the file, and transfer. Right? I can actually talk a lot and go deeper and deeper. However, I suggest that you guys vote what you actually want to see, whether you want to see detailed implementation of that specific scenario that we have demoed today, or maybe you want me to build something very simple to demonstrate the building experience, how it looks like. So I'm going to just quickly create a process, the simple version of this one. So I'm going to also listen to incoming calls on certain IVRs, and then just ring. So it's simple as it is. Of course, so this version is more powerful. It has more business value, but my idea is not in this second portion is not about business value for Cloud PBX users, but rather for those who will be maintaining, building and maintaining the applications. Because I feel like this portion pretty much demonstrates the capabilities of Boomi to support. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just quickly close stuff, and I'm gonna also stop those listeners because I don't want a conflict, right? So I'm gonna just put listeners and close selected listeners. All right. So while it's pausing them, I also don't need this link form anymore. I'm gonna just quickly clean my environment. Yeah, and don't need this either. All right. Let's refresh and see if they stopped. Okay, good. Since my PortaOne environment has so many processes, components, and so forth, I decided together with Klaus that we'd rather use a fresh Boomi account here to quickly show you a real build from scratch. Right? I'm going to launch my runtime. This is where the process will be listening to call events. In previous setup, we had that as a Docker concept orchestration on the servers in the cloud. Here we have the runtime on my machine, on my laptop, HP laptop. So while it's warming up, we go and start building. So almost clean. I prepared just one component here to save our time. So let's quickly create a new folder. Call it simple ring. Okay, and let's create our process. New component process. It immediately asks me what would be the start shape, and since I want to listen to incoming calls, I want this to be a listener, call control listener. So I'm going to choose call control action listen, and we need to connect to the system. All right, so I'm gonna create this connection. Some stuff is pre-populated here. Call it demo, and API login and token we set up a little bit later. I'll show you. We don't need to hard code them here. We actually can set them per environment. This gives us opportunity to manage a separate set of threads for development and production. Right, and operation. We want to listen how. Okay, so we want to listen to call state notifications for PBX, extension of phone line, the whole environment, the ring group, or what. In my case, I want to listen to a specific IVR. I can hard code it here, or I can similarly make it and that as a configuration, right? So we call it listen DAD. Okay. All right. We don't want to react on each and every process. That's why we need to introduce some business rules here to filter certain events arriving to this process. So we choose the profile of our event. It has a certain payload. We create a rule. If we want to start to have a full control on incoming call, we need to check if its state is trying. So what we do, we check a payload, and in a payload we find a state property, and that state property should be trying. Static, exactly trying. So, otherwise, we want to say that state value something is not supported by the app. Right? That's terminized. In case we don't need this event, we can make stop. We can also do some logging here, but we save our time and we keep building. Right? But in case it's our event, we take this path, and what we need to do, we need to convert our event into request to ring the call. So we need to place a map here. Map shape is something that would facilitate this goal. And if in the end, I'm still drafting, right? In the end, we need to actually make a call control request to and ask system to ring that call. So we choose action post, and we choose to create a new operation with no operation. So here, so it's gonna be ring. Let's go through the wizard. Let's import this ring for us. Because oftentimes when you work with APIs, you have to learn the payloads, what you really need to send, right? But the cool feature here is that all those payloads, all those profiles, they are automatically imported, so we don't have to find them. So what kind of action we can do? We can answer a call. We can halt call. We can we even organize a conference. We can park call. We can play some prompt. We can even work with DTMF, so make it a full IVR application. Since we want to, our goal was to just ring, I choose ring. Okay, finish. All my profiles are automatically created. Can just save this guy, connect it here, and also make a stop. Is my connection? I think my connection is a bit laggy. Stop. Right. So we have profiles incoming. We have profiles to make a post. Let's connect them and create this prepare link request. So in source, we choose event, that is event notification. In target, we choose our request. We expand it here. We see that we need to provide ID and tag from variables that are available from this site. Okay, so let's find them. Okay, I got ID and tag. So I just connect them. That's it. This request will be automatically populated with this variable that we receive from the notification, and it will be called. The process is almost ready. We just need to extend, to manage extensions so that some stuff could be configured on a runtime level. I promised you that we need to add API login and token a little bit later, but actually you can manage many things of that. So it's also the identifier. Save. So the process is ready, but it's just ready here on the Convo. To make it work, I need to create a package and deploy it to a specific runtime, development runtime or production. So creating a package, intro version, and we deploy it to our prepared webinar environment. Clean. Okay, I got it. And let's go to this environment and configure the missing part. So we actually need to configure this API login and token to make it work. So this one is going to be the demo. And the password, sorry, I'm going to go a little bit offline and copy password. Sec. API token. Set. Enter. Apply. Okay. All right. So we have we actually finished the deployment process. So we built the simple application which will be subscribing to certain events in your Porta switch and reacting to these events by ringing the phone. Let's see the status of the listener. Yeah, it should be fine. So that means it successfully logged into the system using provided credentials and created a subscription. And now we can already make a call. So similarly, we call this number, this IVR, where the user application is hosted, and we should expect that our application will ring it for us. Yeah, it answered the call as we had built them, because we changed the application. Application is just the, and in the process logs, very similarly, we would see these executions of those simple ring. So similarly, we received the event, and okay, let's give it some time. Yeah, received the event, and executed the ring operation. That's it. That's something I showed you, and I hope it wasn't too complex for you. Well, there is some level of complexity, of course. You spend some time learning those shapes, but other than that, the building process is now very much streamlined, and you can see that no code systems are really ready to create value-added offerings.
Great, thanks so much, Sergey. And from my end, I just wanted to also highlight the goal was not here with the demo to overwhelm or make you feel you needed to understand every single nuance or detail of what Sergey was showing you. But we wanted to expose you and wanted to show you once you're trained and once you're familiar with the platform, how quickly you can actually achieve quite unique and creative applications. So that was the goal here, and I hope he has managed to do that by showing what it looks like to build an application. I mean, yes, a very simple one, but this was within 10 minutes and he built it from scratch and connected, mapped a few API calls, and basically exposed you to what this building process oftentimes looks like. If you do want to learn more, and if you are interested in learning a little bit more, I want to point out we do have an excellent YouTube playlist all about PortaOne Workflows. So this is where we collect and this is where we share all the videos, all the webinars, all the insights that we have in our YouTube playlist there. So my colleague Tatiana has just shared it to the webinar chat, and we will obviously make sure to include it in our webinar summary and the recording that we publish sometime next week or so. But if you're interested, please go to our YouTube channel, take a look for the PortaOne Workflows playlist, and you'll find more details there. So before we move on to our question and answers, and let's see if there are some question and answers, maybe you can already start thinking about it. I just want to take this brief moment and I feel grateful to share a couple more Add-on Mart updates. And so we've been pretty busy over the last few weeks and months. So for those of you that are familiar with Add-on Mart, we've published a few additional modules there that you can use. One is a REST API for charging. So you can think of obviously REST API you are most likely familiar with, but you can now have a REST API wrapper around radius or diameter. So if you're building applications and you don't want to have to deal with radius or diameter directly, we do have a wrapper that gives you a nice REST API to get access to Porta Billing's radius and diameter charging engine. We also have for those of you that want to further customize your invoices that you create with Porta Billing, we now have the ability to use external services to design those invoices. And we initially used a service called Craft My PDF for that. We also have a speech to text for call recording using OpenAI's Whisper engine. So for those of you that would like to have the call recordings converted to text and make that available to customers, that's now also possible with an additional module. And I'm also quite excited to onboard 2 new partners to our PortaOne partner ecosystem. One is CloudPhone, that have a very capable omnichannel customer experience platform, customer CX platform. And PortaOne, we're going to do a dedicated announcement, and YouTube clip also about their capabilities. We collaborated on a CRM dialer, so basically having your brand on the HubSpot or Zoho marketplace, and have a dialer there where your enterprise or SMB customers can use your dialer in Zoho, in HubSpot directly to make inbound, outbound calls. So for more details, stay tuned. We'll announce more details soon and have a YouTube clip up on that also. Sergey, thank you so much for building this. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. It's much appreciated as always. So thanks everyone for attending, and have a good rest of your day. Bye.